everyone. Welcome to All About the Joy. This is the private lounge. And in the house is Rick Costa. Cynthia's here. And our guest, Jesse Flores. How are you? It's nice to meet you.
Same here. Very nice to meet you. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm excited. Let me just say a little bit about who you are. You can tell me if I'm wrong. You are the Vice President of Artists and Label Partnerships at Intercept Music. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And for people who don't know, it's a digital platform that empowers independent artists and labels through marketing, distribution, and strategic growth. You're a veteran of music. You've been an executive for 20 years, which I was like, what were you, like 5 when you started? But we'll talk about that later. So I was like, there's no way he's been doing this for over 20 years. And you've worked with some big legends. You've worked with Ice Cube, Stephen Marley, DJ Premier, Carla Morrison. I was shocked to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to point out Andrea Bocelli right behind you.
Yeah.
My absolute favorite singer.
Oh, so now you're excited, Cynthia, to be on the show. She was all nervous before. She was so cute. Well, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you. Your person, is her name Makeda?
Yeah, Makeda Smith is our wonderful publicist.
Yeah, she reached out to me. And so I've been going back and forth with her. And I was excited to have you on this show. I kind of want to talk about, to start off with Bad Bunny, because I know that you're Puerto Rican and Mexican. Yeah. But we can talk about what you want to talk about too. I don't want to bombard you too quick.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, anytime you have a platform like the Super Bowl, and you have an artist like a Bad Bunny or even like a Kendrick Lamar like last year, you're getting that exposure that's priceless. I mean, he's getting true global exposure from sports fans around the world that watch this one event annually that I believe is the most watched event ever, from what I understand. So the exposure is great. I understand that not a lot of people speak Spanish, but it's 2025, that's the way things are happening. I mean, the reality is, there's a lot of Latinos out there that love football. So I think it's a great opportunity for him.
How did you start in this business? How did you get your feet wet, and how old were you? Because it must have been like 5, 6 years old when you started. I'm sorry. I saw his picture. I saw you in a couple of videos. I'm like, there's no way he's been doing this for over 20 years. So
actually, it's closer to 30. It'll be 30 next year.
What?
30 years. Yeah, I started in 96, in December of 96.
You're going to have to share your moisturizing regimen. We'll talk later. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I actually started in college. I wanted to get into music. I love music. I was a big collector of albums and CDs and cassettes at the time. And I started selling mixtapes at my college, University of Florida, on campus. And that kind of parlayed into me finding out about an organization on campus run by students that actually promoted shows at the school. So it was basically a student-run booking agency. So I joined that, and it wasn't a paid position or anything, but I got to learn like certain aspects of the business and get my foot in the door. We brought some great acts like Notorious B.I.G., Pharcyde, Tribe Called Quest.
Wow.
Lost Boys, Redman. So a bunch of artists that were relevant at the time, and they got a magazine called CMJ. And in the classifieds, there was an opportunity for a college up in North Central Florida for Polygram Distribution, which was one of the big distribution companies at the time. It was one of the majors. Okay. And I had an interview for that. I got it, and I got my foot in the door as a part-time college rep with Polygram.
And that's how it started.
That's how it started, yeah.
We all love music, but a lot of us don't go into it. I mean, are you at all a musician? Do you sing or whatever? Or did you always know you were going to go on the business end of it?
I played instruments going all through my youth. I played alto and baritone saxophone, and even my first year at school. Okay. I was in the program to be, a music major, but at the end of the day, I was like, I don't want to major in performance. I want to major in music, but the music business. They didn't have that at my school at the time. So I switched my major to business management, and I found my way to work in the music part later on with SGP, that student-run organization, and then later on with Polygram as a college rep.
And so you do a lot of management of artists right now, right? Is that what you would more or less say? So just to explain really what you do nitty gritty, give me like a day in the life of.
Yeah, so my day-to-day is really business development. So I'm out there for Intercept Music looking for new opportunities, whether it's a new distribution deal with an artist or independent label, we're actually doing catalog acquisitions now. So any artist or label out there that wants to sell their catalog, their rights, that, has a fairly mature history of releases and just wants to, like, basically cash in or sell their catalog, we're into that as well. But our core business is distribution. So we're looking for any artist out there that, wants to get their music out there distributed to the Spotify's of the world, the Apple Music, the YouTubes, Amazon Music. We provide that service as well as marketing services on top of that. Because to be honest, there's a lot of companies out there that can get your music from A to B. We want to add that extra layer of service out there, that white glove service, to help you with release strategy, coming up with a marketing plan, helping out with some of the advertising opportunities, all that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of company that Intercept is.
So is it basically like trying to help the artists, like basically keep their money, make money on their own rather than having these big labels and having them take like basically like 80% of it,
No, you're right. Yeah, we're definitely into artist empowerment when it comes to independent artists. So you do deal with Intercept, you have 100% creative control, and you have ownership of your content. So we're there to provide a service for you, which is distribution and marketing.
2025, as opposed to like 50 years ago, what's the difference between what you would do now as opposed to how it was 50 years ago?
Man, that's a great question because it's totally changed. Even in my career in the past 25, 30 years, the distribution landscape is totally different because back then we had record stores and, we had physical products and we still do now, but it's not to the level that it was back then. And, what I would do when I was starting out was go to each record store and, put up posters and banners to promote our new releases, set up retailing stores. So when an artist comes in town, we take them on a promo run and do like a signing at the actual record store. Or, we take them to radio stations along with the radio reps. There's a whole face-to-face, more interaction. Now everything's digital, everything's online. You're streaming music as opposed to actually buying it and having that ownership of a physical product. So it's totally changed, and the players have changed as well. Back then it was, Tower Records and Virgin and, Sam Goody and Best Buy and Walmart. Now you go to Walmart and there might be a rack of vinyl albums. And this has totally changed. And, that's how people consume music now is online through streaming. So it is amazing in the fact that you can actually own or have access to millions of songs on the palm of your hand with your phone, using these apps, these different platforms. Whereas back in the day, you had to go to a record store. I would like to sit in the store and, just spend hours listening to new albums and, going through the racks. So totally different.
Do you think something's been lost in like just buying an entire album? You would listen to it from beginning to end, and now people just listen to one song over and over and over again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's definitely more of a singles game now. When I listen to an album online, I might add up to 5 songs to a playlist. It's just not like it was back in the day where you had no skip albums. Like one of my favorite albums is Mary J. Blige's My Life. With that album today, you could play it from track 1 to the end to be happy. And it's just an amazing album, very deep and just no skip tracks. Like it's just no filler. So
it's like Lauryn Hill's Miseducation, right? That's another one. No skip. Yeah.
And even the talent of an artist like Lauryn Hill, I mean, she could rap with the best of them. She could sing with the best of them.
Yes.
Like, she is an amazing talent for sure.
Yeah. Wow.
So funny because like I have a few friends that are DJs, and I still remember back in the day, them lugging the big crates with all the records and everything. And now it's like you just bring a laptop and you're all set. You got everything at your fingertips.
Yeah, I know the DJs are loving the digital age because that's all you do. You have to have somebody with you to do all that for sure.
Right. How do you think AI is affecting your industry right now? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Yeah, I think it varies. When it comes to AI, we actually have AI incorporated with our database and our dashboard within Intercept as a marketing tool. So if you're an artist and you don't have a publicist, you can generate, a press release or a bio using the AI in our dashboard. I think where the difference is when you use AI for content creation. That's a different story because, you're having a computer generated song or track and, or artists per se, and it's just I think it takes away from the human element. So as a company, Intercept, we definitely support the marketing side of AI. But when it comes to content creation, that could lead to potential issues, because when you have AI created content, that could also lead to fraudulent activity at the DSPs and having fake streams and to go along with that, quote, fake artist. So that's definitely an issue and something that all the major platforms are trying to take a good look at now to resolve.
What's one moment in your career that you can pinpoint that kind of changed everything for you, that you knew this was what you were going to be doing?
I'd say without a doubt, when I started my job at EMI, which was the mid 2000s, I went from being like a regional sales rep to an actual national position where I was head of urban marketing. And from that, I was able to parlay it into head of business development, where I had the ability to sign distribution deals with artists. And these are artists that I grew up listening to. So they were already established, and most of them were coming off their major label deal. They didn't want to go back, but also wanted to keep releasing music in an independent fashion. And the way we were able to do deals there was, I signed to a third-party distribution deal with EMI. They owned the rights, they had control. We provided distribution, but we also had Capitol Records, one of our main labels, provide marketing services. So even though they were independent, they had Capitol providing radio promotion and publicity and marketing, which was huge at the time.
Right.
That was a big win for them.
What would be your advice for an up-and-coming indie artist? What would be like kind of your beginning business advice?
I would definitely say, really sit down and think about what do you want to do. Is this going to be your career where you want to, make a living? Is this just something you want to do on the side? And if it is something that you're serious about and really want to earn some money at some point in the career, during your career, you got to have a plan. Like everything you do, you got to have a plan and sit there and really, for the next 12 months, here's what I want to do. I want to release 2 EPs, or I want to release an album or singles or whatever, and then put together a strategy, to approach each platform to optimize the most ability to basically have that major exposure. So say, you put out a release for a single, you want to have a plan for Spotify, a plan for YouTube, because each platform is different. Each platform has different fans. So you want to make sure you want to do that. And then also incorporate a team that you trust and that believes in you, that can help you achieve your goals. So
And that's what you guys do, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah. And that exactly, like a distributor is part of that team, and I call it the Fantastic Five. So it's a good distributor, a good manager, a good publicist, a good entertainment lawyer, and a good online marketing and social media strategist. Having those 5 people or 5 entities in your life when it comes to being an artist are crucial, because you can, go back and forth. You can heed their advice. You guys can throw ideas together, come up with that plan, and really help grow your business.
Okay, so what is the biggest shift you've seen in hip hop?
I think lately it's been a lot of the cross-pollination of genres. You see hip hop being integrated with Latin music per se, Afrobeats as well, country. There are a lot of country artists working with hip hop artists now. So just hip hop becoming more mainstream and bleeding into some of the other genres that are typically not used to having hip hop being a part of it. And hip hop is just going to another level. We were talking about Bad Bunny earlier. He's basically a hip hop artist that raps in Spanish. So, it's pretty much global now, and I don't think it's going anywhere.
I don't think it's going anywhere either. I think, I don't know a country artist that does hip hop. Am I confused?
Not that really does hip hop, but I meant like doing a hip hop song, like with an artist, and having like maybe a country hip hop track. Like I know Nelly did one with, hip hop artist years ago. Like he was one of the first ones.
Oh, okay. And, I'm not a fan of country. Everyone knows that. So I'm like, what?
Yeah, definitely some mashups, I guess they'd say, between country artists and artists.
Right. Because I think we kind of need that, like, in a weird way. We need there to be more crossing over, because I think it helps bring people from different genres, but different geographic and political strives together. You know what I mean? And this country kind of needs that right now, big time. And I think music can play a big part in that.
Does your company at all deal with music videos, or is it just strictly music?
We do have a partnership with YouTube where, we optimize and monetize any videos that are posted to YouTube. And then I think pretty soon on the roadmap, we're actually going to start delivering to like Vivo and some of the other platforms that sell music videos as well.
If you could build a dream label from scratch, what 3 values would define it? This was totally an AI question, by the way, but now I want to know. Well, no, what would be your dream label?
I think it would have to have definitely top-notch customer service. You know, that's a big part of it, because the reality is a lot of times now, when you talk to these distributors and artists that are with other distributors, they have a hard time getting people on the phone, having a hard time, you know, having somebody email them back in a timely manner. So just being able to talk to someone and reach someone when you have an issue, you know, that's important. Nowadays.
That's everywhere.
It's everywhere, exactly. And I was talking to somebody about like my car insurance or my mortgage company. I couldn't get anybody on the phone.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a number to call. The thing was like an AI bot, and I'm like, you know, I need to talk to somebody.
Okay, so that's one. You have 2 more.
One. And then having a perfect blend of music distribution tools and technology, just providing tools that are definitely going to help, you know, the artist and label get to what they want to do, whether it's advertising, whether it's marketing, whether it's playlist promotion, you know, developing tools that are actually there that are going to help grow the business.
On the personal side, growing up when you were a kid, what kind of music played in your house?
All kinds of music. My mom was big into like the Motown era, so we heard a lot of all that great music that Motown had in the 50s and 60s and 70s. My parents were Latino, so there was definitely some salsa, some merengue. And then I grew up listening to R&B and hip hop, really. A little bit of jazz, play jazz in the band. But yeah, it was a nice mixture of all types of music. I grew up in the South. I grew up in Florida. So we had our genres of music as well, booty music, all that kind of stuff. That was big. And definitely R&B. Like after 10 o'clock, that's all you heard in the radio stations was R&B music.
Yeah.
So a good blend of all those.
Who's your favorite artist?
Wow, that's a great question.
You might get in trouble for this one.
Just take him 5 minutes.
Because of
to
my
answer.
generation, I always love the artists on Uptown Records, so I'm a big Jodeci fan.
Jodeci.
Yeah, I'm a big Jodeci fan because I grew up in the '90s, and they were it. They were like the game back then. I'll say Jodeci.
Wow. Okay. I would have lost that bet if we had to make a bet. Okay, cool. You've worked with some of the big legends, right? Ice Cube, Stephen Marley. I always say Steve Marley. Why am I saying Steve? Is it Stephen Marley?
It's definitely Stephen, yeah.
All right. You know, we personal friends, so you know. What's a lesson you've learned from some of the great artists that you've worked with?
Definitely work ethic from an artist like Ice Cube. You know, this is someone that is, you know, I grew up listening to, so just working with him was a dream, you know. And then just at the time of my career, I was really young, so I was just getting started out. And I noticed that he's different than a lot of the artists because he also has a movie career. And when you're in movies, they move differently. Like you have to be on time. They just have a different work ethic about them. Same thing with Tyrese. So these people that are not just artists, you know, they're really about their business. They have a bigger team around them. They have more opportunities come about. They, you know, seem to move differently and not sleep, you know, but still be able to function and do what they need to do. So I think learning the work ethic from those type of artists really helped me realize where I could fit in and what I can do better.
Have you ever been starstruck by any artists that you've worked with?
I wouldn't say starstruck, you know, but I might get a little nervous. Like when I first met someone like DJ Premier, who I really looked up to, I kind of fumbled my words to begin with. And I'm like, oh boy, just did that. But not so much starstruck where I was like, oh my God, I can't talk to them type of thing. It was more so being a little nervous.
Is there anyone that would make you fumble in a big way? You know what? Because I felt the same way until I met James Earl Jones.
Okay.
And I was beside, you know, like, I mean, I meet a lot of celebrities, but that was like one of my heroes. And it was really hard when I first met him. But it was cool. Yeah. But I didn't think I would do that. So I'm wondering, is there anyone that would do that to you?
You know what? I think the answer would be different if I was just starting out my career, because I would probably say, yeah, there's so-and-so. But now that I've been in this business for a while, you realize that everybody's human and everybody's just like you in some sort of way, or started out just where you were. So, I mean, I was just, you know, I don't think I'd ever be really starstruck, to be honest, at this point in my career.
Really? See, I would be. I think I would be some people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think now if I would be, but I think I would be. I think there were a few people that would just throw me.
Yeah.
I would cover it though, right? I'd be like totally chill, but inside I'd be dying.
Really?
Inside dying, yeah. I think so. I think people like, I mean, you know, may he rest in peace, but like Robert Redford, like meeting Robert Redford would have been really cool. You know, Prince, you know, I mean, I love Prince and I never saw, you know, like I would have been like beside myself.
Yeah. I think, you know what, now that I think about it, if I had met Halle Berry in the 90s, I probably would have been for her.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. I may know certain people. I don't know. Can't really talk about it. You know, NDA. But, I'm just kidding. NDA. What's next for you?
We're just excited about what's down the road for me, for the company at Intercept, because, you know, we're poised for great growth over the next year or two. Just with the, you know, who we're hiring, you know, we're adding people to our team where a lot of the major companies in music nowadays are consolidating and merging. Yeah. And it's an exciting time to be an independent artist. You know, independent record labels and artists own, I think, at least 40% market share now out of the entire music industry, which is crazy to think.
Wow, I didn't know it was that much, like, really.
Yeah, it's like 38 to 40% now of the music consumed is coming from an independent artist or label.
That's really good, actually.
That's amazing, yeah.
That would be amazing if it could happen like in television and movies as well. Like, I mean, I think everything's changing, you know? That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
So that kind of inspires independent artists. I mean, saying that, I think is kind of, I don't think people realize that.
Yeah, it's true. And that's the reason why I wanted to join Intercept because, you know, I've been working with independent artists for years now, and I see it. And I see what happens when you have results and you work as a team and you're strategically grow their business along with what you're doing as a company. And, you know, there's just so many ways that you can, you know, optimize and monetize different content. You have total control of how you want to release things and what you want to release. Like, just the whole independent spirit is something that drives me and something I want to do going forward.
Not talking about music, but from a point of view as a manager, as somebody who knows business, what would be your advice to someone who's just starting out in any kind of way, wanting to start a creative career? What would you say to that person?
I would say do your research, you know, really go out there and see for yourself what this business is that you're doing. So say if you are an artist or a label, and you want to get into the business, you need to start going out to different events and, you know, that some of the companies out there have, like, you know, the performing rights organizations for music, ASCAP, BMI, and CSEC, they constantly have events that you can attend. There's conferences that you can attend because you want to see who is part of the business that you want to be in. You want to see where you fit in, observe, or at least that's what I would do, just to kind of get the lay of the land. So, you know, you're not going in there blind. That's the first thing I would do. The second thing I would do is, mix and mingle and meet people, network, and try and find a mentor. Because that's one thing I would say I did not have in my career, is having a mentor that could kind of take me under their wing and show me the ropes. I didn't really do that, but the type of person I am, I learned on my own and just from, you know, observing and being part of the business. But having that mentor, I think, definitely helps, especially in the long run, because you never know in an industry like music, which is very volatile. A lot of people get laid off. A lot of people lose their jobs or something happens. I've been in the business almost 30 years. I've been laid off twice, only due to company mergers, you know, not due to cause. So there's just things that are inevitable that happen that you got to deal with. And having those people in your corner that believe in you and trust you can only help you with your next move.
But let's do it a little bit more concrete, right? You said mix and mingle, network. Like in the music industry, I don't know where that happens, right? So LinkedIn, like what do you do? Like how do you find out these places that you could go and meet people?
Yeah, so there's different organizations that hold events. There's also music conferences. Like there's a big conference in Atlanta every year called Music Biz, where everybody pretty much on the business side of the music industry, they go there and, you know, present their new releases and have, you know, panels that have discussions and showcases. So those type of events are not as many conferences as there used to be, but there's still some around. That's a great place to kind of get your foot in the door and learn about the music business. And then there's different events in bigger cities, like even the event weekends, like BET Awards a weekend or NBA All-Star Weekend or Grammy Weekend. Those are all events where you want to be in the city because there's constantly people that are in the business you want to be in that are there out and about.
Oh, yeah. So you're just saying like networking around in those
Yeah.
areas, finding out in your city, whatever. So,
Yeah.
you know what? What's your website name? I can't believe I didn't write that down.
So the website is interceptmusic.com, and we also have an Instagram handle. It's at Intercept Music Official.
Okay. And I'll make sure to put that down or whatever. So it's, say that again, interceptmusic.com.
Yes.
And Instagram is what?
At Intercept Music Official.
I got some.
Go ahead,
Remember back in the day when they had those memes that says, what they think I do, what my family thinks I do, what I really do. Like, can you think of like a misconception or two of what people think you do? But it's like, nah, Brian doing none of that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, all my people back home, they definitely think I mix and mingle with stars like 24/7. And this is just so nuts.
I think you do too.
No, no. When you're in distribution, you're in the business side of the music business for sure. Like there are definitely times where there's a listening party, or you having an artist go around to different meetings with Apple Music or a Spotify or something like that. But for the most part, it's definitely a business side. Like we have marketing meetings, we have sales meetings, we have business development meetings, and it's all like it's all work. It's for sure.
And you're talking to all of their entourage people.
Yeah. We're not talking to the artists. We're always talking with their manager.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times people will expect my client to show up, right? Because I work for some people, and it'll just be me and our assistant, and they'll be like, "Oh,
yeah." And since I'm in business development, a lot of people I deal with are like attorneys, or just people that you wouldn't think are in the music business. But yeah, if they're an artist that's actually doing something, they have an attorney, and if you're doing a deal with them, you got to talk to them and deal with them directly, and send over agreements. It's work. It's definitely the business side for sure.
So what makes you so happy? Like you said, it's the work. You love what you do. So what is it?
I can't see myself doing anything else. I mean, I've always wanted to be in music, and yes, when I was younger and I had those, I guess what I would call lower level jobs, it's definitely more fun because you're basically on the road, going to record stores and promoting music and having boxes full of CDs and posters and stuff that kids would love to have. And, I would literally go to hotels, that I would need to stay in going on the road and give them a few CDs and get like a free room, stuff like that. Those days are gone because we don't have anything to barter with anymore.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and then, you just, it's just it's a lifestyle. It's like it's part of your life. Like I can't see myself doing anything else, like working at a bank or something. It's just, I don't know. It wouldn't be the same.
Now, where are you based out of?
So I'm bi-coastal. I live in LA and also Atlanta, but I spend most of my time in LA.
Where are you right now? You're in LA?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, see, he is cool. I'm in Los Angeles. I didn't know you. For some reason, I thought you were in Atlanta, but okay.
What would you say would be something you could say that sets apart your company as opposed to other ones?
I definitely think it's our customer service. As I stated earlier, you're not going to be chasing us. You're not going to be able to have an issue getting somebody to talk to any about your issues, because a lot of times when you have an issue with a distributor, it's because something's not up at a certain platform, or you need to deliver something, late, and you want to make sure it gets live on time. So you need that urgent, response. And I think that's kind of what we excel at, is basically being there and also trying to be proactive. If you're an artist and you put something out and, you turn into music and you're like, oh, I want this to come out this Friday, we're going to push back and say, hey, look, it makes more sense to do it, 3-4 weeks from now, because the reality is that Spotify or Apple Music, they have their pitch meetings 3 weeks before a release date. So why would you want to put something out if you can't at least discuss it with them and get it in front of them? You never know how they're going to support. They could, give you a playlist, or they might, feature your project. You just don't know until, you let them know that it's coming. So little things like that, I think, could definitely help and are beneficial to any of our artists and label partners.
What is it that you're looking for in people reaching out, talent wise? And what are you not looking for? Like, what would be a reason you would reject someone?
So yeah, we're definitely looking for artists and labels that want a distributor that help them take to the next level. Definitely prefer artists that have a commercial fan base. So somebody that has followers on Spotify, subscribers on YouTube. The one thing that we probably wouldn't accept at this point is just like a brand new artist that has never released music before, because you just don't know what kind of following they have or, you know, kind of interest there is in their music. So we wouldn't necessarily reject them. We just say it's not the right time, you know, come back to us. Let's revisit it once you've put out some releases and to see what kind of fan base you generate. So anybody that's out there that's got some type of commercial fan base, that's and ideally a catalog that could transfer over, we'd be looking forward to working with.
So the fan base could be on any social media. So if you have TikTok followers or whatever, like that would work too.
More so the monetized platforms with music. So say like you said, a TikTok, a Spotify, a YouTube, Apple Music, a Amazon, a Pandora, those type of platforms.
Right. So you're not looking for beginner people. Sorry, Rick. No, I'm just kidding.
There's distributors for them though. There's like DistroKid and TuneCore. Those are the distributors that work with the DIY type of artists where they're just getting started. And then, you know, once you get to a certain level, you can start generating some sales and some streams. That's when you can look at other distributors.
But those guys aren't your competitors? I thought I read they were your competitors.
They can be, but they offer different types of services. Like if you're a DIY and you're at a TuneCore or DistroKid, you probably don't have marketing services involved. It's just strictly distribution. So we are a different company that's kind of fits in the middle of a DistroKid and like a Orchard.
Right. And you, again, I think it, like for people who are not in the music business, to me, it sounds like complete management. But is that wrong? I think that's management, what you do.
It's definitely like artist or label management. That'd probably be the correct term for it, because that's essentially what we're doing as a distributor.
Right. Right. Okay, cool.
What's the youngest and oldest person you've dealt with?
Wow, who would be the oldest? I'm trying to think.
Not the name, but like the age.
Oh, the age, yeah. I think who it is.
We probably would know who it is.
The oldest, yeah. It's not that old, probably in their 50s. And the youngest is teens, you know, late teens. Yeah.
Okay, now I do believe that you're in your 30, you know, that you've been doing this for 30 years, because nobody who's really young would be like, you know, young, like 50s. Nobody, like, that was your tell. Okay, I believe it now. Yeah.
Hey, I'm 1 year away from 50, so.
Really? Well, you look fantastic. I'm just saying, we are doing makeup tips afterwards, so you can tell me what you do with your skin cream. If somebody comes and they're 14 years old and they have a huge crowd base or whatever, how much of that role matters, like especially if their mom and dad are heavily involved or not?
It depends, because if the mom and dad is like the manager, then yeah, I think it definitely is a factor. But usually when they're a young artist that, you know, might be a little mature or might not be emotionally ready or stable to deal with the industry, we usually have like a buffer. We usually have a manager that we deal with strictly. Like the only time we really deal with an artist is like when they're actually there and at like an event that we sponsored or brought to the table. Now there's also the case where you're an employee at a music company and you have that situation. That's a different story, because it can get tough. Like there's been meetings and stuff where people's gotten yelled at and it's gotten tense or a little high stress, or, you know, deal with adversity, you know, deal with crazy situations where you're getting calls in the middle of the night. So-and-so's effing up, you know, how can we fix this? I don't want them on my project anymore. Don't let the guy touch my record, that kind of thing.
That happens a lot. It happens a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So you have that on both sides, the artist level and on the business side as well. Yeah.
It's very painful. No, I'm just thinking about, like, you know, dealing with especially people who are high-end artists. And the thing is that when they get upset, because it takes a lot usually, because by the time, because it's gone, it's filtered through 15 people, right? Their entourage of people. So if they're upset, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Like, we're now in the weeds. Yeah. And we usually have to fire whoever they're upset about if it's gone that far. I don't know about your industry, but it must be the same thing.
Yeah, it's very similar. If they're not fired, say if it's like a product manager, we switch product managers. Like it's somebody else going forward that's going to handle that artist going forward, type of thing. So yeah,
this is the background.
I haven't seen where everybody's been fired.
Right. In the same respect, when everything goes well, you don't usually hear anything.
That
Well,
too. Yeah.
isn't that true? Like if everything goes spot on perfectly, it doesn't matter how hard you worked or whatever, no matter how hard the team worked, you're not going to hear like a thanks, or I'm not saying all the time, but you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, it's to be expected at certain times, but yeah. But not hearing anything sometimes is a good thing, especially.
Yeah, no. It's always a good thing. Yeah, that's what you want, but it's so interesting how, and you're saying it's the same in the music industry. It's kind of the same thing when you're dealing with high-end people. It really is a filter of a whole bunch of entourage people. And then, it takes a lot of work to make people look magical. And if it works, it's great. But if it doesn't, it's bad. Yeah.
Exactly.
When you retire, is there something like a dream or a bucket list thing like, oh, yeah, this is our time doing this?
I haven't really thought about that deeply, but I'm definitely all about peace and tranquility in my life. So whatever it is, I'm going to be chilling. Like, I'm a big college football fan. I'll be watching football in the falls, a little bit of baseball in the spring, and just spending time with my loved ones. Yeah,
you know what? It's so funny because I think we all need some peace and tranquility. Yeah. Man, and that is what music gives me every day. What does music do for you?
It does it all. I mean, there's music for every type of emotion and feeling. If I want to work out and really get into it, I listen to my run playlist. If I want to just chill and relax, I have like a chill jazz playlist. So it just varies. For any mood you're in, there's music for it.
Yeah, somebody today at work, it was so funny because I was listening to Sting. I forget which album, but it's not The Police, it's Sting. Mm-hmm. And I just had it on I didn't think anybody was in the office. And one of the guys was like, "You're listening to this? I didn't know you'd like." I'm like, "What do you like?" Yeah. I don't just walk around only listening to Beyonce and Prince. You know what I mean? Everything changes, right? There's like a different, I don't know. It was just on in the car. And then I went into the office and I put it on, whatever.
There's music for each mood.
Yes. Absolutely.
Very true.
Well, it was really good to have you. It's just, you're very efficient. I don't know. I have never done my list of questions and gone through them all.
Oh, wow.
No, this is a compliment to you.
I feel special.
Or a diss to me for not doing better work. But we appreciate having you on, Jesse.
Thank you.
If people want to reach out to you, could they do that personally, or would you rather that they just go check out the website?
Yeah, definitely check out the website, IG, or they can send me an email. I'm at jesse.flores@interceptmusic.com.
That is so awesome. All right. Well, people heard that. I'll make sure to put that out there. Really grateful to have you on the show, and thank you so much. And everyone, remember, at the end of the day, it really is all about the joy. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Don't hang up, Jesse. Don't hang up yet. Okay. Thanks for stopping by. All about the joy. Be better and stay beautiful, folks. Have a sweet day.